So this is the beautiful thing about you don't know what you don't know, right?
Okay.
And in life, the quickest path to get to anywhere is.
I have a very special guest, a big brother of mine, KoMichel Johnson. And in this episode, you'll hear resilience, perseverance, and all things associated with what you need to be an entrepreneur. This gentleman here has gone from over 10 figures in his bank account to nothing and bounced back and still kept his same identity throughout. That story is something that we want to highlight here on the Rosa Group. We welcome you to join us on that journey, and thank you for participating here today. So I look forward to seeing you at the end and hopefully throughout as we continue to build on this show.
You know I came from the struggle, but I was made for the hustle. Out of the concrete jungle, I made my way out the tunnel. This for the entrepreneurs, this who I market it for. We see the obstacles, yeah, we acknowledge them all. When people was doubting it all, we conquered it all. Listen to stories from people I met, dealing with real estate, dealing with tech. 24/7, they get to the check, breaking the barriers people have set. One man clubhouse road, look what the concrete grows. Roads that the sunlight views, shown in the here B-rolls. Look at the roads that grew.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rosa Group. I'm your host, Brandon Rule, B-Rule on all platforms. Rosa Group is a podcast, a show that explores the mindset of entrepreneurs around the country, around the globe. We're focused on primarily business, real estate, and finance, but we get into a little bit of everything here. If you haven't joined us before, welcome. If you're joining us again, thank you for coming. Feel free to give us a rating. Give us a 5, hopefully. If not, I'm inclined to think you're a hater, but either way, appreciate you for tuning in. Today I have a very, very special guest, my brother, KoMichel Johnson.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
How you doing?
Fantastic, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
Of course, man. Welcome to the show. So for those that don't know who KoMichel is really a real estate savant, an entrepreneur, just a overall good man, A Morehouse man, we'll get into that, but an overall really, really good person. Just your background, man, hundreds of millions of dollars of transaction, multiple comma club in the bank account, cash, lost it all, got it back, seen all of the ups and downs. So, you're a big brother to me. Your words of wisdom always, come through strong, and I appreciate having you on the platform.
Man, appreciate that again, brother. Appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
Too kind, brother. Too kind, man.
I know that's a light intro, but I would love for you to tell the people a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and why you're here on the Rosa Group.
And first of all, man, appreciate the opportunity, man, to talk to the audience. Brother, you're making a lot of things happen, man.
Oh,
and
man,
just proud to see, man, as you scale. And we're going to get into that, so stay tuned.
Yes.
Again, KoMichel Johnson from Gulfport, Mississippi, and came to Atlanta in 1990, man, out of Gulfport. Good student in school. Probably a fun fact, people may not know, I'm a pianist, right?
Oh, okay.
A classical trained pianist.
Jeez.
And so I did that in high school, started playing for church. So when I got to Morehouse, my friends were going to work at Macy's and department stores. I'll go to church, right?
Whoa.
And play the piano and play for churches, weddings, you name it, funerals. And so go to Morehouse, man, started off dual degree program, thought I wanted to be an engineer. And so majored in math. Left Morehouse, man, and went over to Georgia Tech.
Okay.
And kind of had a rude awakening, if you will. I realized that, man, I didn't like engineering, hated it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, this is for the birds.
Engineering?
Yeah, double E, electrical engineering, man. Hated it, man.
Ouch. Let's rewind. Let's go back. Let's go back to Gulfport.
Yeah.
Because we skipped over that.
That's right.
Many people don't know where that is. Where is that on the map?
Great question. Gulfport, Mississippi is at the bottom of Mississippi, right?
Okay.
And so when people think of Mississippi, they think, all kind of craziness, you know what I mean?
That's where my family's from.
That's right. So on the coast, so you got a lot of things spill over from New Orleans, just on the coast, got the beach there.
Gotcha.
So as a kid, man, we used to always go to the beach. So it's kind of, when people think of Mississippi and when they go to Gulfport, the coast area, it's like, oh man, I didn't think Mississippi was like this, right?
Gotcha. So it's not a big country town.
It's not a big country town, but just like a touristy town, you know what I mean?
Oh, nice, okay.
So now the casinos are there, and a small town, man, about 60,000 people.
Oh, that's small, okay.
And, but a decent town growing up, man. Decent town.
What was that family dynamic? Mother, father, How was the household, brother, sister? How was you raised, and how has that influenced, who you are today?
Man, you know what, man? I was extremely fortunate to have my mom and dad at the house.
Love
And
it.
my parents preach education, right? And also they preach service. Because my dad was a politician growing up. He was on the school board, was the first black school board member in Gulfport.
Nice.
And so I kind of watched him campaign, going to different churches, things of that nature. And my parents worked as a team, right? And I saw, where she was strong, you know what I'm saying? My dad, they complement each other. Her strengths and weaknesses, they complement each other big time. And again, man, just education. And they said, my dad used to always say, hey, if you can believe it, you can achieve it.
That's
right. So it's a lot of positive affirmations. And it was fantastic. So it was my sister and I, so it's two of us.
Okay.
And
Older, younger?
She's younger.
Okay.
She's younger.
You're big bro.
Yeah, I'm big
you
bro.
always been big bro.
Yeah, always big bro, right. And she's
Nice.
younger, man. And so I can say, man, we had a great childhood. You know what I mean? And I know that I'm extremely blessed for that, man. Extremely.
Interesting, man. I tell people all the time the same way. I don't come from any money, but I come from a lot of love.
Yeah.
I was fortunate and blessed. I think it's always important to acknowledge privilege. I come from a two-parent household as well.
Yeah.
Like, that is rare, really, in our community.
Yep.
But I think it does instill, principles and characteristics that sometimes not having both doesn't, happen. So really glad to hear that situation, and not surprised, led you to who you are today. Did either one of them attend college? Are you first generation, second generation?
So my parents, they got married young, right? They got married and they went to college after they got married.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So my dad was working at, the parent company called the Southern Company, but it was a Mississippi Power Company. So
Gotcha.
I kind of watched him kind of work his way up through the ranks of the company, man, and going to always educate himself, always trying to do better. And so I watched him as a small kid, mom got a degree, went to 2-year college, got a degree in accounting. And so I just saw them always kind of, always trying to, push to be better. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And then as my dad became a politician, we really got involved in the community, organizing different basketball leagues, things of that nature. And so that's probably, as I think about it, as we talk about this, kind of had entrepreneur spirit kind of kicked in, playing the piano at church.
That's right.
Right, and then we ran like a stand for the kind of the neighborhood at the basketball games, recreation basketball games. You know what I mean? So I just kind of saw the transaction. You go buy it low, and then you create the margin.
Right.
At the games that we had.
Revenue, expenses, profit, margin. You learn all of that at a young age.
All of that, man. You just think you're just doing that. What did this cost? What are we going to charge? You know what I mean? So all those things, as I'm kind of thinking back, man, were helped me. Kind of got to the point where I am today.
Love that. Super, super cool, man. So you talked about basketball leagues affiliated with the church. Did you play sports growing up at all? Elementary, middle, high school?
Yeah, I played sports, man. But I quickly realized that, I grew up in North Gulfport, which is, the predominantly African-American side of town. There were a lot of brothers who were much more athletic than I was. I realized that, hey, bro, you know what?
Your gift was up here.
You might want to use that big guy, because these brothers, they nice.
They're different over here.
They're different level. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Quickly realized, like, okay, this not gonna work. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is.
So I played in the rec league, never for school or anything, man, because the talent was ridiculous.
Too high.
I mean, it was ridiculous, and I wasn't that good.
Hey, man, self-awareness. I tell people all the time, self-awareness is one of the most important things you could ever get. Like, for me, it's like, I believe I can do anything. I believe you can as well. But you have to know your strengths and your weaknesses.
You have to, man.
You can't be irrational. You can't be, like, insane, right? Like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Exactly.
If you know yourself and you continue to do something that isn't aligned with yourself, it's one thing to work to get better, but at a certain point, you just got to accept the gifts that you're given and double down on those. So
exactly.
I'm glad you figured that out sooner than later.
Sooner than later, man.
Yeah.
And So it was good. I mean, just good growing up in Gulfport, man. Not Gulfport, man. And again, we lived on the black side of town.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so, went to high school there, man. But this was one thing my mom she was very sure about this. She said, listen, son, you're going to go to school outside of Gulfport. You are leaving here.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
She put her foot down.
She put her foot down.
Okay.
And so you are leaving here. You are out of here. And so being from Mississippi, at that time, like Mississippi State, the schools were looking for, I'll call it the affirmative action program, if you will, for lack of a better word. They're trying to get diversity in their schools.
Okay.
And so went to a couple of programs in Mississippi State, went to one at Ole Miss, and it was okay. And this summer, that's a summer. It was in April before my senior year. Morehouse had this thing called Prospective Seminar, PPS, whatever. And I got there. Our parents came up, and mind you, I had a full ride to Mississippi State, full ride to GT. And my parents came to Morehouse, and Morehouse said, "Man, we can't give you a full ride, we'll give you half." Right?
Ouch.
I said, "Ouch! Come on, man." I said, "Ouch!" But my mom and my parents were so impressed about what they saw at Morehouse, about the program, the brothers there. She was like, "No, you know what? We'll figure out a way how to get this done. You going to Morehouse." So that's how I ended up at Morehouse, because I said, let me go to GT.
How did that make you feel for them to make the selection for you? Was it one of those like, my parents had my best interests at heart, so it's okay? Or did you feel rebellious at the time and saying, no, I'm going to pick my school?
No, I feel when I got to Morehouse, man, I saw this.
You knew that was the place to
this
be.
is the place. You spilled across the street, Clark, and the step show. I said, man, I am in.
Yes.
This is you do not have to twist my arm for this. You know what I'm saying? I said, I'm in this. This is
Got you. So if it was your choice, you would have chose that anyway.
Oh, without a doubt. When I saw man, this is incredible.
Yeah. So no fight. There was
no fight. And being there, my senior year, the level of black excellence in one location, I had a culture shock.
Let's double down on that, man, because I went to Marquette University, and it was 4% black when I was there.
Wow.
And it was a culture shock in the reverse way. So I grew up in a predominantly African-American, school system. Right. Most of my schools were in the north side of town, which was primarily black. So when I got to college, and it was 4% really black across the board. I mean, African-American and people from outside of the states, different kind of black experiences. The experience that I shared was even less than 4%, right? So the people that I connected with, it was very, very few. Some of my guys from high school went, but outside of that is few and far in between. Some of my best friends to the day came from colleges. I'm sure yours as well.
Exactly.
I'd like to talk about that. But tell me about your culture side, coming from Gulfport, where you had these athletes, and it was a black town as well, right?
No, my high school was 70-30 white,
okay,
right?
Gotcha.
But I lived in the black part of
there
town,
we go.
right?
There we go.
So high school 70-30 white, and when I got to Morehouse, it was the first time to where, as a black man in America, I was the priority. So you are the priority, and you go to class, and then you kind of erase some of the myths that you kind of have in your head about black people. Gotcha. You know what I mean? And so then you get to meet brothers from around a different country with different experiences.
Nice.
And then, as you matriculate through Morehouse, you build this brotherhood, right? That is, that's incredible. So like I said, some of my best homeboys, my best friends from the house. You know what I mean? So
to this day.
So going through the experience, seeing the excellence, and seeing the excellence to where, hey, it is expected. Like, dude, you have to. You cannot fall off. If you get knocked down 10 times, you better get back up 11 times.
So it was an iron sharpen iron.
It was iron sharpen iron experience, man. So it was completely amazing.
So you're a freshman. Your parents say, okay, you're going to Morehouse. You're figuring it out. You just get on campus. That first day, first week, what was that like?
Dude, it was like, man, you stayed up all night long, right? And because it was amazing, all the different groups of guys from different parts of the country, right? And I remember guys from New York, so they was all, tough, like, yo, son, what's up, B? So being down south, you're like, hey, what's up, man? You speak. And those guys was kind of funny, like, man, dude, why these guys speaking to us? Like, what's up with that? You know what I mean? So the diversity, not only of black people, different regions.
Yes.
And so you get into this melting pot and you just kind of learn from one another, you know what I mean? So I'm from down south, you know what I'm saying? We listen to Two Live Crew, Ghetto Boys. The guys up north listen to the Lost Boys. And we're like, okay, what is that? Okay, that sounds kind of cool, you know what I mean? So the sharing of knowledge, the camaraderie, man, it was the first week we said like all night just talking about where we from because, of course, the talk tells everybody where they're from. They're the man, of course, at Morehouse. So you're like, okay.
Of course.
But it was beautiful.
You reinvent yourself.
You reinvent yourself, that's right.
So when you say Morehouse, there's a lot of reference to guys, and anyone that isn't familiar with Morehouse, it's a all-male university or college, right?
College, that's right.
How was that being all-male? I know your experience was different from some of the others because Spelman, which is all woman, was right next to it.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that dynamic of going to a exclusively male college, but having a sister college right next to you.
It was incredible because sometimes when you got the brothers in the room, you can have an honest conversation about the plight of a black man in America, right? We can break down all the walls. We can have some really sharing. We really can pour. And they poured into us, right? Hey, is it fair? No. Facts. You know what I mean? Is it fair? No, it's not fair. But can you continue to push?
Yeah.
Is that going to stop you? No. You got to continue to push. You know what I mean? Because you look at the history of especially black men in this country, it hadn't been that great, right? So the black man, when we look at brothers and from where we come and to continue to push, we come from a long lineage of excellence, and Morehouse highlighted that. Yeah. We highlighted greatness. You know what I mean? So it was incredible, man.
So Will Smith, one of my favorite people, man, he has this quote where it's like, it was on Instagram or something. He was talking about how although something may not be your fault, it's your responsibility to make it better. So when you said that about, the plight of the black man, et cetera, yes, it's not fair. And it's not our fault that we're dealing with the circumstances that we face on a day-to-day. But it is you and I's individual responsibility to do better, to go above and beyond all of the circumstance in which we're in. So
that's right.
That's what made me think that.
And that's a powerful quote, man. But it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. So that was that was the amazing thing about Morehouse, man. It was fantastic, brother. Incredible, man.
So Morehouse, from a cultural, social perspective, we already know it was crazy, right?
Yeah.
What did you study when you got there? You started mentioning how you was doing double E, Georgia Tech. But what were you doing at Morehouse?
So, again, fresh out of Mississippi, the thing was, hey, you want to go to school to get a job, right?
That's right.
Just over broke, right?
Yes. Thanks.
And so I said, okay, I saw guys, at the Southern company that were engineers. Hey, they seem to be living pretty well. Let me try that, right? And so in Morehouse,
influenced by what you saw with your father.
Right? At his office, they was like, okay, we're engineers. We need more black engineers. So I'm pretty decent in math. Let me try that. So another thing about Morehouse, I saw high-level entrepreneurs up close. And sometimes in life, you have to see it, right? The exposure.
Were these peers or people coming into Morehouse?
There was people coming into Morehouse, and also my Morehouse brothers' parents. You're looking at guys who were like second, third generation business. I was like, what do your dad do? Oh, man, take out a $100 million company doing X, Y, Z, and just saying it just like this. Like,
casually.
What? Casually. I'm second, third, fourth generation Morehouse. So being from Mississippi and being exposed to that, it was like, hold on one second. I really like this equation. You know what I mean? And so as I'm matriculating through Morehouse, I'm going to GT, and when I got to Georgia Tech, it really kind of solidified that, you know what, you might want to take a serious look at this entrepreneur thing. That it was just kind of ringing.
Okay.
And in my double E class, it's not going to class because I hated it, man. You know what I mean? So talk to people. If you don't like something, man, if it's caused you pain and you don't enjoy it, switch up. It's okay. Switch up.
Yeah, it's okay to pivot.
It's okay to pivot.
That's a great point, man. If you look at the evolution of so many people that we even admire, like Diddy going from backup dancer to cultural mogul.
Yes.
That whole process, he's pivoted so many different times, and you can do nothing but respect it.
Respect it, man.
And I think sometimes we get caught up and think that we have to be kind of caricatures of ourselves or whatever the figment of, like, that is my imagination. That's what I think I should be doing. So I need to do that. And if I'm not doing that,
That's right.
I'm down on myself.
Exactly.
When in reality, we should just embrace what are you good at? What are you bad at? Just follow that energy, follow that flow.
Just follow that energy, man. And that energy was on me, man, at GT. It really turned the fire on, man. And then, like I said, double lead, then I switched to industrial engineering, which is more business. And then I said, aha, this is it. I mean, like, you couldn't keep me from studying, like, economics, financial modeling.
Okay.
I mean, I really wanted to know, the facts, economics, allocation of scarce resources.
Yeah.
I mean, all those business things, man, I became a sponge. And so school for me shifted to where, like, I want to know this. And that was a powerful, like, aha moment for me. You know what I mean? Even with math, you kind of study for a test, theory, set theory, those classes. But when I got to GT and started taking business classes, like, wow, this is it. And so GT for 3 quarters, and I realized that, hey, I must just have 2 bachelor's degrees. You know what? Let me go get an MBA. That's my claim. I want to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. And in America at the time, hey, what they tell you? You got to go to school, get these credentials, things of that nature.
That's right.
And in today's times, education has been democratized. Really.
Yeah, for
you know what I mean? You got YouTube University, right? Really. So leave there and go to Clark and get an MBA with a concentration in marketing.
Nice.
And so in my second year, I never forget this. I'm like, man. I'm telling my friends, hey, man, we're in business school. We need to start a business. We are the experts.
Yes.
That's who we are, the experts.
So you're telling your friends?
Yeah, it's business. That's
any of them in your ear, like, yeah, we should do this too, or?
No, everybody, because at the time, we had, P&G, Procter & Gamble, come and giving students $40,000, $60 sign-up bonus, paying $160,000 a year, right? So
that was comfortable.
That was comfortable.
That's some good money, too.
That's great money, right?
Especially back then.
Back then, you talking about 1999 to 2001, that was fantastic money, right?
Absolutely.
And I just looked at it, from a contrarian standpoint, say, if they're able to pay that type of capital to us, what are you generating for them? So let's just flip that coin over. And so a second year of business school, and mind you, I'm being inquisitive, just reading every autobiography that I could get of successful folks. You know what I mean? Earl Graves, A.G. Gaston.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I read, Ted Turner, Boone Pickens, all those guys. Like, what success leaves trails? What are the trails to success?
Success leaves trails.
It leaves trails, right?
That's right.
And what I realized is 85% of those guys had a stake in what? Real estate. That was like, okay, well, I see a pattern, real estate. So if you want to have a high probability of accumulating wealth for generations to come,
that's right,
you might want to try to figure out a way how to make some money in that space. But brain surgery, you know what I mean?
That's right.
And so second year business school, Kerry Wynn, I kind of literally harassed him. People say, be persistent, be patient, and da da da. Be patient, be aggressive. What's the term? Be persistent. You really have to harass people. Like this guy. Listen, folks, this guy right here, we're gonna get to that. Got some amazing things going on, but you want to harass him to be on his team. But you got to be great. But you really got to harass people because busy people are busy.
That's a fact.
And I harassed him. I said, I want to get into the business. I want to help your business. I'll do it for free. I see what you guys are doing. I think I can help you take your business to the next level. I'm in business school right now. He said, I got something even better for you. I want you to team up with my son, and I show you the business, and you go do your own thing. That was
it went from, I'll do this for free to, nah, just work with my son. I'll give y'all the infrastructure. Y'all can make your money.
Yeah. Yeah, you in school, you build up the infrastructure, right? Okay, you're in business school, okay, great. Hey, my son is a builder. I know he can make the structure go up. You go find the capital, figure it out. You're in business school, so go make it happen. Go figure it out.
How are partnerships, man? So this is This is a new startup entity.
New
Sounds
startup.
like you have a mentor already.
That's right.
And now he identified a gap. My son can build. He's really good at this piece.
That's right.
But he is missing that piece.
Exactly.
And that's where you came in.
That's where I came in. And so we started, man, and it was funny because, like you said, pivot, right? People always trying to pin you down to your past or mistakes you made.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're not the sum of our bad choices.
Nah.
And his friends would say, hey, man, you gonna partner up with Greg? You gonna partner with Greg? And so what I did was, everybody was saying that, right? I went to Greg, I didn't even tell him what they were saying. I said, Greg, we're gonna be the biggest builders in Atlanta. We're gonna take over. That's what we're gonna do. Because they didn't realize what he was doing. They put a battery pack in my back, and I said, we're going to get this done. Because I've been watching for 6 months, build out all the houses. I knew he was amazing with the customers. I said, that's a rep. So y'all look at it, y'all don't know Greg. You don't know Greg.
Yeah.
You don't know
Greg that I know.
You don't know Greg that I know, right? And we started, man, 3 houses in 1999, man, grew the business, generated over in land development deals and housing, over $200 million in revenue from 99 to 2008, right before the recession.
So in less than 10 years, y'all did 200 million.
Yeah, in revenue.
Let's park. Let's start at those first 3. What was that like? So now you got the father, let's call him OG.
Right.
And you got the partner, Greg.
Right.
So Greg is gonna build these homes. How many homes had he built at that time when y'all got together?
He was doing everything for his dad's company. They left Greg out in a subdivision.
Okay.
Greg had, I think it was like 42 homes out there, and he did everything.
So how many homes has his dad built prior to y'all doing
Dad,
your own?
hundreds.
Hundreds. So he like, hey, my son has, been an apprentice under me, if you will.
Right. That's right.
He has graduated out of this apprenticeship.
That's right.
And he should go on his own.
He should go on his own.
But this is what he's missing, and it's you.
That's right.
So y'all first 3, was that a contract? Was it a private land? Like, how did y'all even get these first 3 lots to build those homes? And were they for sale?
No, they weren't for sale. So this is a beautiful thing about you don't know what you don't know, right?
Okay.
And in life and in business, the quickest path to get to anywhere is a straight path. Go straight to it. So, most folks at the time, you get a real estate agent. I had no clue because, I had, I'm called clear eyes. Like, this person owned this land. I need to go talk to them.
Yes.
Right? And so how we got started, it was lots, because the area was, right after the Olympics, the area gentrification was just started. And lots were kind of all over the place, and went down to the courthouse. I found out who owned the lot. And I never forget, I said, man, so I sent the person a letter, right? And I said, man, Greg, they didn't respond. I said, Greg, let's get in the car, we gotta drive to the house. And Greg thought I was crazy. He said, you gonna drive to their house? I said, yes. They own the land. We gotta go drive, knock on the door to their house. So we drove, knocked on the door, got the land under contract for $25,000, and that's how we got started.
For all 3 homes?
For the first lot. So
first lot, okay.
First lot was $25,000, second lot was $35,000, and then the last one was $29,000. In the city, and these lots right now, yeah.
How much would they go for right now? Just for the lot?
$200,000. Just for the dirt.
Oh, man.
So that experience was good for me, man, because again, I'm looking at the whole construction. It was exciting. Like, how do you build a house? Foundation. So I got to watch and learn the process. Now it's on our dime. We borrowed the money from the bank. We came in with the equity.
How did y'all make guarantees financially? Was that Greg leveraging his father's balance sheet? Like, how did y'all get that?
Great question. So Greg didn't have any assets at the time, so they leveraged my assets because I had a house in the neighborhood. So if this blows up, we're gonna take your house, and the only reason to give you this capital because you guys have 0 experience together. You got Kerry Wynn and Bill Wynn. We're vouching for you guys. So Kerry and Bill Wynn, those 2 had a company together. And they said, hey, if anything mess up, we feel comfortable they can come in and fill in the gap. But just in case, we're gonna really make sure we collateralize this correctly. Not only the dirt that we was building, those 2, but we want to make your house part of the collateralization as well.
So let's break that out, man, because that's genius right there. Y'all took, $25,000 in terms of value for the land, and you cross-collateralized that with your own personal property.
Yeah.
That worked, but it only worked because you had the relationships
Yes.
with the guys that knew the bank. And they said, hey, if y'all mess this up and go crazy, they can come in and fix it.
That's right.
But what's genius about that to me is you or Greg didn't require the father to put his money up at all. No
Exactly.
risk and liability
None.
other than, hey, this is my son, they will be okay.
Exactly.
That's a strategy that you all should be going after if you can. Find, partners that are aligned with you, identify the opportunity, bring in, resources to whatever level you need it. But if you can mitigate someone's risk, whether it be, high net worth individual or someone, whoever this potential mentor is, if you can mitigate their risk and all they got to do is give a character on your word or word on your character, that takes you pretty far. So that's genius, man.
Yeah.
That's genius.
And that's how we got started, man. And exciting learning process. And then I looked at housing as manufacturing. That's really what it is. The last kind of form of manufacturing in America. That's really what it is.
So let's take a Ford factory in terms of assembly line,
Yep.
right? You go, it's a belt, boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Building a home is the same way, right? Like there's some variables because the land is different. Each
That's right.
piece of land, sometimes the dirt is dirty and
That's
you gotta
right.
lay utilities and
That's
things like
right.
that. But for the most part, to your point, it's like a process.
That's right.
You excavate, you demolish if necessary.
That's right.
Clean off the dirt, lay the foundations.
That's right.
Start framing and building.
That's right.
Cap it off, and then put the finishes in the inside.
That's right. Mechanicals, dry it in, you ready to go.
That's literally, like you're saying, manufacturing.
That's it, manufacturing, man. And you look at it like, wow, okay, so now we're doing spotlights, and
Spotlight, define that. For the
spotlights are lots to where you kind of go in, you got a house here that's already up, a vacant lot, you go in and you build that house. You go down 4 houses down, another vacant lot, oh, great. We build that house and sell that house. Go around the corner, another vacant lot, we put the infrastructure in, foundation, and you build that house as well, right?
That's right, that's right.
And it's a great way to get started because the infrastructure is already there. You have to put in the streets in, you tie into the public sewer, public water. It's the best way really to get started,
Okay.
you know?
So instead of finding vacant land where you go out and you have to bring all of these utilities to it,
Yeah.
do all of the environment, all of the reports necessary to bring utilities to it.
That's
you don't
right.
have to do any of that.
You're not doing it. It's already been done for the
It's
city.
already in place for the city.
That's right.
Streets
All
are
the
in
county.
place, sidewalks, everything.
That's right.
You just pop
Plug
in the
and
house
play.
up.
And so we did that for years, man. And then, it's in anything in business, you want to grow. How can we
Start
get
scaling.
bigger? How
Start
can we
scale- okay.
scale this?
Yeah.
Right? I'm looking around town, seeing the other builders building. I'm like, man, these guys know better than us. I mean, we can do this. We understand the process, and we built an amazing process of building. We got it down to where we could build a house from foundation in 62 days, right?
Whoa.
And we detailed the process. This is who you call. And Greg did a really good job of communicating to all the subcontractors. Instead of calling him, y'all call each other. When you finish putting the roof and the plumbing, hey man,
You know what's next?
call the trade on the phone. Hit it with the next day, like boom, or call him on the phone.
So y'all had a lean organization, I would assume.
Oh, lean, very lean, man, very lean.
How many staff members, outside of you and George, how many staff at y'all peak did y'all have?
28,
Really?
Yeah, 28.
So it was 30 of y'all.
30 of us,
Cranking
yeah.
out $200 million.
Yeah, and it was a great time. And so we do that, we scale, and a lot of notoriety here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we young guys are doing our thing. And, you're reaching for the stars. You're like, hey, man, you know what? We can turn it, we can turn this thing into $1 billion operation. We continue doing what we're doing. We know the urban markets. We understand affordable housing. Let's continue to scale.
What year was this?
This is 04, 05.
Okay.
We smoking at this time. We rolling. We putting
Feeling
in work.
yourself.
We feeling ourselves like, wow, we the best things in sliced bread. We doing it.
You just bought a nice car,
Yeah,
nice
bought a
rolling.
car, that's right.
Rolling around
Bought
Atlanta.
the toys, right?
Yeah.
The real estate, entrepreneur, first brand, first real money starter kit,
All of that.
all of that. And
Okay.
then 05 comes, 06, I say, okay, things kind of change a little bit. 07, it's gonna get better. 08 comes, the party is over.
Financial crisis.
Financial crisis.
All music stops.
All the music stops. I was like, hold up, man. This is crazy.
So your experience, everyone knows about the 2008 recession,
Yeah.
the financial crisis.
Yeah.
Your experience specifically is probably the closest to anyone that could have been significantly impacted outside of the banks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had the big banks. It was a mortgage lending crisis.
Exactly.
You are in the single family home business.
Yes. That is depending on mortgages.
That's right.
And, you know, debt from bank and equity. I mean, we were, I mean, it was all over us. You couldn't escape it.
All right, so let's get into the weeds for a second because I'm just thinking about from a transactional perspective. I know a little bit about real estate. So you identify this land, let's just call it $25,000. Let's just say $75,000 to build. That is $100,000 total $100,000 total project cost, right, to build this home. In that example, you have a construction loan,
Correct.
that is offsetting most, if not all of that.
That's right.
You know, $100,000.
Correct.
So the bank will give you, let's say, $80,000, and you bring in $20,000.
You're exactly right. Those are the numbers.
So if the bank gives you 80, you bring in 20. The bank has an expectation of getting that money back within a certain amount of time. You were building them in 62 days. Y'all are cranking. How long was your construction loan? Maybe 24 months?
Construction was a
36
year.
months?
It was a year construction
It
loan.
was only a year, 12 months.
12 months.
Oh my God, okay.
12 months.
So your construction loan was 1 year.
One year.
Each time your construction loan was about to mature, you sold that property before that happened.
Exactly.
Okay. Had there ever been a time pre-08 where you reached that full year and had to refinance?
On dirt that we had, just vacant dirt. But
Vacant dirt.
Yeah, but in terms
But
of
the value of the value of that dirt, you can refinance anyway.
Exactly.
You didn't take on the cost of construction and
That's right.
building vertically at all.
Exactly.
So you never went vertical and not been able to sell within a year.
Oh, because I mean, the market was incredible. That only happened after 08.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to just go and make sure I understood this. So 08 comes.
08 comes. Nothing is moving.
How many homes did you guys have vertical that, you know, reached this construction tipping point, if you will?
Man, we had over 100 houses in some form of construction. We had land, choice pieces of dirt in Atlanta, Athens, Griffin, because we were in an expansion model. We was expanding. We had huge equity partners, putting 100% of equity up.
Oh man.
You know what I mean, at that time. And senior debt from all the banks around town. And
That was booming.
booming. And the bank loves it because, you know, fees, because we turn it into capital.
Right away.
Right away. And then 08, everything stopped. And, you know, the first bank that came in was BB&T. They got it first. They said, guys, listen. They said, KoMichael, if I were you, I would shut this down. Home building is done.
BB&T told
BB&T told us that this is over. Let's look at the
Was
financial.
this 08 or 07? Did they give you a little heads up?
This is 09. It happened, the crash happened in 08. 09, first quarter, they were in the office. Hey guys, listen, we're looking at these numbers. There's no way you're gonna get out of this. It's impossible.
What was the average price of a home selling for at that time?
300
that you were building?
350,000.
350. So you got hundreds of those at 350.
Yeah.
Y'all do the math on that.
Ridiculous. So it was crazy, and they came in like, God, this is over. And so, you know, you again fighting like, man, we can make it through.
Yeah, entrepreneur. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. You know, let's get lean. Let's lean up. You know, man. Just we can sell these homes to investors, and the money had completely dried up.
The money from the loans, so you couldn't get more loans. The money from people purchasing the homes and you couldn't sell them. Where was the biggest pain point for you?
Obviously, the people buying the property, the mortgage.
That's what I figured.
That was the biggest pain point. And that the credit markets were over. You're not getting a mortgage. It was done.
Because they were doing steady income loans and all type of fraudulent stuff at that time.
Exactly. If you had a pulse, you got a loan. You had a credit score, you got a loan.
Yeah.
So it was over. So our takeout was done. So we got all these properties, there was no takeout.
Hundreds of properties at $350,000 a piece with no takeout.
No takeout. And land you in the middle, you just develop, and you're like, how we gonna start 200 houses here, just over.
So there's a term in lending called recourse.
Oh, yes.
Versus non-recourse.
That's right.
So when, going back to the first example, you mentioned $25,000 for this land. You were going to collateralize your personal home.
That's right.
To me, and I think most in the space, that's considered recourse. There's some recourse. You
That's
made
right.
a financial guarantee.
That's right.
That if everything messed up, you would figure it out.
That's right.
So although y'all had debt and although y'all had equity partners, I can make a safe assumption, right, that you and Greg made the guarantees.
We signed this term in this business called personal guarantee, PG.
Yeah.
Every deal we did, that was a personal guarantee. And start calling the loans due. Hey guys, we want our money.
So that's risk, man.
That's a lot of risk.
But you're young.
You young.
Young booming.
We booming. You know, you're not really thinking about that. Like you think, hey, we can always get out of this. The market is always gonna be fantastic. You know, like how people think the market is right now. The market is booming.
Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever. You know what I mean? So that was, you know, we saw hindsight is always 20/20. You know, looking back then, like, you know what? Hold on, this is, you know, we need to sell, right?
Yeah.
But it was recourse, the banks coming in, suppliers. I mean, it's just the whole thing with the suppliers, your trade partners. Hey, we need to get paid, and you don't have the capital to pay all of them.
Sheesh. Okay, so not only do you have to pay off the loans from building them, towards the end, you just order some appliances. They were delivered.
They deliver.
That, let's say, 30-day receivable come through and the music stops.
Music, like, we need that. And you trying to manage cash flow with the banks. Banks tell you, hey, you keep making these interest payments. We're going to, you know, try to get something worked out with
what
the
was
bank.
your interest rate on some of that stuff at that time?
The interest rate were 5, 6. It wasn't crazy.
That's pretty good.
It was a decent rate. But, you know, you got $100 million for debt out there. You know, so it's almost, that's a big nut every month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
especially with no income coming in.
No income coming in, so you start depleting, your savings, and you look at it like, man, this is gonna get better, and we became emotionally attached to the business because it's our baby. Like let's try to make this thing work instead of looking at all the facts. Like, guess what, guys? This is a global recession, and everybody got kicked in the teeth. And it's going to be very challenging time to try to make this work. So you might just cut your loss now and quit trying to deal with this dinosaur. It's over.
Is that like, how do you cut it? Like filing for bankruptcy?
That's one option. Or you say, hey guys, tell the banks, hey, I can't pay you. I can't pay you. You know, simple as that. You know, can't pay you.
And they weren't too happy with that.
They weren't too happy with that at all.
So how old were you at this time?
I'm 36 at this time.
So you're 36, going through this headache.
Man.
How it seemed like you and Greg had his father and a couple other folks to get some advice on. What were those people telling you, like your mentors? So
the crazy thing, they had never experienced anything like that themselves. Because that was like, you know, the last time something like that happened was 1929, the Great, Depression. That's why they call it the Great Recession.
Yes.
So they didn't have any data points to kind of base that off, right?
Gotcha.
And I never forget this. I go, so I'm talking to them. They really didn't have any advice for me. Like, man, we don't know KoMichael. And I remember talking to Egbert Perry, talk to him about it. Like, man, what do you think we should do? And I never forget, he gave me this bit of advice. He said, hey, man, listen, this is really bad. If I were you, I wouldn't file for bankruptcy. You kind of do what you want. But if you do there are consequences if you do that, right? You don't have the complexion for protection, all right?
Oh, wait, that's a bar. You don't have the complexion for protection.
Exactly.
That's a bar.
So, guys, like you see all these guys, Donald Trump, they can go file bankruptcy and get back into the graces of the banks again. Guys like me, hey, you are credit risk. You're not a good business person.
That's right.
And we can't trust you with money if you file bankruptcy, right?
Ever again.
They tarnish you. They try to just tarnish your reputation, right? And sometimes, so you think about, man, do I file? So I don't file. We just told people, can't pay you. Hey, man, listen, your lawsuits are in line. I'm not filing bankruptcy. And you just got to deal with it.
So I'm assuming you were getting a ton of lawsuits at this time.
Oh, lawsuits are galore. Yeah, I mean, every night, the sheriff come out every night, hit the intercom on the gate. I say, sir, just drop it out there. I come get it in the morning.
There's another one,
There's
man.
another one. There's another one coming in.
Whoa.
And so when you're going through those things, man, it's like demoralizing. You're like, my God, man, how did we get to here? How did this
That
happen?
was just on the top of the top.
Just on the top of the top. Like, hold on 1 second, man. Like, you driving drop top Porsches, you know what I'm saying, wrong town, and that's over. And
So you end up giving the cars back.
get the cars back,
House.
man. Houses, all the houses, man. You can have these houses, man. Foreclosure, just completely melt down, right?
Was the foreclosure that much better than the bankruptcy?
The foreclosure homes, the bank just foreclosed and they just took the asset back, right?
Fair.
So that was good. That was
So
great.
it wasn't a personal.
It wasn't a person, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's in the
But they
business,
didn't come after us for anything. They just give us our asset back.
Got it.
And but the lawsuits, they just kept going on and on. They sued. And then the recession was so bad that they said, man, we the returns are making all the money because they're trying to chase us around. Like, dude, you're not gonna we don't have the capital. It's over. And that was crazy, man. And I would say to anybody, man, you're going through tough times, they don't last always. You just gotta keep pushing. And I would say sometimes you just gotta walk in faith. You don't know where things are going. You just gotta, you know what, just momentum, just move. You know, because during that time, I couldn't tell you what my business plan, what are my strategies. I'm trying this working for part of the time, and then this doesn't work, you know, part of the time. And so kind of through that, I did find something that's kind of worked, you know, that was consistent, but this is kind of after trying like 10 different things in the real estate space, right? Rehabbing, contracts not showing up, taking the money, it was just crazy. But what I noticed through all the pain, there is always a silver lining, right? I call it the candle in the dark, right? It's dark outside, where's the candle in all of this confusion? And I noticed that the bank, it was so bad, the bank just started, in my eyes, started giving these houses away below replacement costs. And I was like, wow, okay, something to that. And we slowly start building a business, just acquiring property and selling them to foreigners.
Okay, so you were doing a portfolio kind of base model.
Exactly. So we get
Selling
one
the
property,
funds.
selling. So this before the funds get into the space. We sell them to foreigners, right?
Yeah, because funds weren't around.
They
back
weren't
then.
around.
These were just like sovereign funds from overseas.
From overseas,
Or
you know what I mean? Foreigners.
Literally
Looking
foreigners.
at on television, CNN, the America is on sale. You better get you a piece of America.
How do you get in contact with a foreigner?
So now the technology's kind of catching on, and then I know, I'm looking, you start Googling, and I noticed people from Australia were sending boatloads of planes to America. They're doing these tours, and these guys are buying houses in Atlanta, Orlando, Arizona, all foreigners from Australia. They were the first to the marketplace in America right after the recession.
Had no clue.
You know what I mean? They were the first. So I'm looking at this, and the guys were doing seminars, charging people $5,000 to come to the seminar to hear about the opportunity.
Oh, man.
So I was like, wow.
It's the same game that's going on today.
Same game's going on today. Same game, selling information.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start, kind of walking that down, man, getting our grips around that model. And we start selling to foreigners. And we start selling one house, two houses. And then, then the copycat organization in Australia, and we start, contacting those guys. Hey, guys, we boots on the ground here. We can help you get properties.
Let us know what you're looking for.
Let us know what you look for. Here, service.
So you're kind of like wholesalers in a sense.
100% wholesaling. The guys who I used to laugh at, like, man, wholesaling ain't got no money, dude. I'm the developer. I'm the one with the lines of credit with the banks. What are you guys doing? Right?
And the way you spent out of that was to get into wholesale.
I spent out of being a developer out of means of survival, and really, because they didn't have any capital was limited,
Right.
to start wholesaling. And because the company is this high intellect of structuring deals with city, public-private partnerships, and I said, I got to negotiate with a person on their house?
That's easy.
Oh, that's easy. And at that time, it was all agents because they had all the foreclosures. I'm negotiating against a person who just got a real estate license 2 weeks ago,
Right.
and they just been in a fortunate position to have all these foreclosures. I said, I think I can win that.
Yeah. And more often than not, you did. I'm
Yeah.
sure. So,
And-
can we talk about your mental health during this period? Like, I can only imagine how that felt. Like, knowing you, the family,
Yeah.
you know, wife, kids, et cetera. Like, what was that like?
Man, that was the why, to keep pushing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So in those turbulent times in life, man, you gotta find the candle in the dark after you kind of find that. But really your why is gonna continue to give you that push to, even when you don't even feel like I just wanna give up. The why, when you look at your family, that's the why, right? And that was the battery in my backpack that kept me pushing. Pushing, finding a way. So it was, kids was in private school, had to pull them out.
You couldn't afford it anymore.
Right? Pull them out of private schools.
Were they cool with that, or did they feel away?
They were young, and so what we did was, one of the teachers at the school, she was a young girl, and she was a favorite teacher anyway, so she left the school and said, hey, you know what, let's do this. Can I hire you to teach my kids just do homeschooling?
Oh, nice.
So it worked out well for the kids. They did that for 3 years. And so that happened. So you look for ways to really learn how to stretch a dollar. You look for ways to really how to, really look at your whole life. What are the necessities? What has to get cut back, right? Because you're forced to, right? And so I always say, man, that recession was the best thing that ever happened to me and the worst thing at the same time. Because it really sharpened my skills in terms of negotiations. It really made me a real estate professional, about how signing notes, again, no PG, how we structure this deal.
Oh, man.
Just how I look at the landscape totally. And it propelled us to be extremely successful. And, we started wholesaling and building again after the recession.
Yeah, that's interesting because Egbert, who's a mentor of mine at this point now as well, you mentioned his name. Starting out, I started developing these properties and I was making personal guarantees. I am making personal guarantees, specifically on like construction, right? So my construction loan might be $15, $20 million.
Exactly.
That's
significant.
I'm signing a PG on that, and I'm like, whoa, at a certain point, your contingent liabilities add up to a point where it doesn't make sense. And some of the advice that he gave me, I'm just like, yo, how do you get around this?
Exactly.
And the advice he gave me was that he doesn't necessarily sign construction loan guarantees. He'll sign a construction completion guarantee, which are two different things.
Two different things.
So if my construction loan is $20 million, something goes wrong, I gotta finish this and give them the $20 million.
Exactly.
Right? Or if it's just a complex construction completion guarantee, I just have to figure it out and I'm not as liable for that construction loan in the same way that you were. So
that's right.
Definitely gonna take heed to that moving forward.
Very, how you structure deals, and like you said, Edgar, he's definitely a godsend for both of us, but in terms of just structuring deals, that little bit of advice, I mean, that takes your business, because you're going to have times in business where everything's not going to be smooth, right?
Yeah, I had plenty of them.
You know what I mean? And so if you structure it the right way, you can survive those and continue to push.
That's right.
But you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right. You know what I mean?
Where do you get the information? You can't Google it.
Can't get them. And you know what? Now, man, the beautiful thing about we're on this podcast, we are democratizing information.
Yeah.
They can reach out to us, through Instagram and other social media platforms. And we're doing this really as service giving back. Because before, hey man, I'm embarrassed. You don't want to tell about the bad times. No, why? That's part of the story.
Right.
That's part of the story. Everything hadn't been all rosy.
It take a lot of courage to come and say what you just said to the camera.
It does, and and again, I look at like those experiences. Really, it was for me to share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't just for KoMichael to go through all those things, bottle. Hey man, listen, I'm back on my feet now, bro. I'm good. No. Tell the whole story, big guy.
That's literally the reason why I created this podcast.
Yeah.
That right there. Like the rose that grew is showing that everything isn't rosy.
That's right.
There's a process from planting that seed to getting that rose all the way up there.
That's right.
What does that process look like? And obviously I'm paying homage to Tupac, rose that grew from concrete. Like coming from where we come from and the things we have to deal with, like we should marvel at these roses being raised.
Oh my God, man.
And we got to tell the journey, because there's a little KoMichael, there's a little Brandon, that hopefully is going to watch this and
right.
learn from the very things in which we're talking about. So
That's right.
That's the purpose. That's the intent.
That's right,
For
man.
free.
For free.
Yeah.
For free, man. And after recession, man, like I said, I was looking at those things, man. I found out wholesaling, and we sold to the foreigners. We did very well with those guys, man. You know, really got our financial wherewithal back. You know what I mean? And we just, you know, my position is scale, right? So we scaled the business up. And then in 2013, 12, we were contacted by Blackstone, which is a huge real estate fund through Invitation Homes. Because what they did, we looked at the deeds, like
Two big funds.
Two big funds, like who was trading all the properties? Just they saw the name kept popping up. And then we started trading properties to those guys. And I mean, then the business took off to another level, you know what I mean? And the institutional guys are still in the marketplace today, right?
Probably more so now than ever.
Ever, you know what I mean? So we're in 2021 right now. We you know, the forbearances are ending, these evictions are about to start, and everybody think there's gonna be, you know, a lot of inventory, right? Probably will be. Inventory obviously gonna increase, but for guys in our business, there's an extra strategy that didn't exist before, who's gonna probably gobble a lot of those things up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting because it's like you saw all of that in 2008, pivoted into wholesaling and getting back more into, you know, home building as models are changing.
That's right.
You know, we're partnering and working together on Reinvest, real estate investment platform that will allow and democratize investing. But in terms of some of our strategies, just to unpack the curtain, build for rent is a huge strategy of ours, right?
Huge strategy. And you kind of look at the model, you know, so now we're wholesaling, we're gonna do build to sell to the consumer only in key areas in Atlanta. But the growth of our other model is build to rent, right? The reality of it is owning a home in the future is gonna be a luxury, right? And we're just looking at the curve, where is society moving to. You want to build for rent, because build for rent, guess what? I have a fixed cost. I know what it's going to cost me to live every month.
That's right.
The house need to be painting, this, that, you know, AC breaks, it's an expenditure.
Yep.
But build for rent, I know that's going to happen. And also, too, after the pandemic, people want their own space, and the capital markets are chasing yields. And what we're doing is paying attention to where the capital is going and providing a service. So build for rent is going to be huge for us, huge.
So just to give some clarity on that, build for rent is historically, let's say you had 30 acres of land, you can get 4 houses an acre, so 120 acres, 120 homes. We're just throwing the number out.
That's right.
If you were doing 120 homes back then, you would build, let's say, 5 and then sell 5, and build 5 and sell 5, and build 5 and sell 5, all the way until you got to 120. But what happened recently is that, you pay attention to the markets, changes have happened. So agencies, which are backed by the government, can now provide lending products to this build for rent model. So if they are providing construction loans, like we talked about earlier.
That's right.
Instead of going to a multifamily 120 unit, you can get a construction loan for a single family.
That's right.
120 units. And the model is the exact same as the multifamily.
That's right.
It's just a different structure of construction type.
That's it.
But the operating expenses are very similar. The ratios might be a little different. You got to mow the lawns and do, shovel the snow and
That's right.
all of those things. But to the consumer, now I have a fixed cost, to your point.
That's right.
So you can have a sophisticated real estate developer, investor, take care of all of those things for you. And as a consumer, I pay this price, I get more square footage, I don't have to worry about anything. So there's pros and cons with it. Of course, one of the cons, the wealth that is created in the communities through the appreciation is no longer passed on to the traditional person that's living in it.
That's right. They don't get that.
It's extracted by all of the big guys.
It's extracted by all of the big guys.
But the purpose of Reinvest is to literally allow for investment and collaboration into these projects, into these parcels, so we all can share in that accumulation of wealth. So
I mean, that's why I'm so excited our partnership with Reinvest, because we are democratizing investing, and we are allowing people to participate.
Yeah.
Right? We see what's coming. Either we're going to make the changes necessary to participate, or you're going to watch from the sideline. All the big money is going in this direction, and we was like, okay, we don't have to be rocket science. We're going to get in that space, and we're going to excel in that space. And with Reinvest allowing, clients, I'll call them our partners, man, to have ownership. That's where you want to be, man. Mm-hmm. And now our people can participate in ownership.
Yeah, something that's never happened before in that
Never.
way. So, yeah, man, that's super exciting. All of that is cool. Just kind of thinking about like the whole trajectory of like starting out. Okay, Morehouse. I want to do engineering, which is adjacent to real estate, even though it's not real estate.
That's right.
I want to do some engineering, and then it's like, okay, I want to do business, and then I stumble across this real estate profession, and I do it at a very high level, and I go to the bottom of the bottom level.
That's
and
right.
Then I got to do the scrappy work like some of the wholesalers that I've kind of looked down upon in the past. And I'm sure it's humbling. That was a very humbling experience, right?
Very humbling experience, and I just want to tell everyone, listen, never look too high.
Yeah.
Because you never know what God has for you. Never be high on the hog, high on the hill, look down on folks, because you never know. Treat people the same, you know what I mean? And sometimes, I would tell the guys who kind of new to success, you start to believing it's you know what I mean? You're just in a fortunate position where things are working right now. That could change. So just always be humble, man, and, never get too high on your highs, never get too low on your lows, man.
That sounds, I had a question I was going to ask, what advice would you tell your younger self? But it sounds like that's probably what you would tell yourself.
That's what I tell myself,
I don't want to speak for you, but what would you tell your younger self? Or even like your son? Your son just started at Morehouse?
Yeah. I got a son at Morehouse, but I have another one at Morehouse.
What's some of the advice that you tell them, man?
Hey, listen, man, the same thing. Never get to high on your highs, never get to low on your lows, man. Just, treat people with respect, man. If you can't do something, don't feel bad about telling people I can't do it, because a lot of times, folks try to be pleasers, you know what I mean? Just be true to yourself, you know what I mean? Be true to yourself, man. So me going through that, man, it's definitely changed me as a man, as a person, and it raised my sensitivity of compassion, because I can see when folks kind of in trouble, things of that nature, and we go out of our way in our team to really conversate them to make sure they're good. Before I didn't have that radar. I'm like, okay, man, listen, I'm out here getting mine, bro. You can do it too. There are some factors that life shows up sometimes.
That's real.
Life shows up, and we got to be compassionate to our fellow man, our fellow woman.
I love it. I love it. I want to get into some weeds a little bit. So, like, like numbers. If you were to start your business from scratch today,
right?
What are the first 3 steps you would take? And then what would you do over the first 30 days?
Great question, man. That's a phenomenal question. I guess what business? Is it wholesale business, construction business?
I was going to specify, but I was just going to let you.
So
that's it. You can pick.
So let's say, obviously you guys can see a lot of stuff online about wholesaling. Man, there's a lot of data on that. We got a lot of good partners at Max and Alex and Nas, a whole crew. CJ, Chris Jefferson.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of data on that, right? So let's talk about home building, a home building business, right?
Okay.
And you didn't know anything about it, right? The first thing you would do is identify a builder, right? Identify a builder, because that builder is going to help you. They have plans already. So they're going to short, like, what should we build? Most builders, they have their plan, they know what's selling, they know what works, right?
So you don't have to be a builder.
You don't have to be a builder. You don't have to be a builder.
You're the residential developer.
You're the residential developer, right? That's the first thing, identify a builder, right? So once you identify a builder, kind of watch, just kind of interview a couple of folks, look at their product. First step. So now you can get some out of the ground. Finding the dirt, with technology, with land cloud, all these different softwares out there now, just drive and look for vacant lots in areas that you want to be in. Contact the owner of that, okay? And if you get a deal at the right price, there's financing available you have indecent credit and have some equity put down to where you can finance that transaction. So you leverage finding a good deal, good vacant lot, and you leverage the banks will say, hello, you don't have any experience. I do have experience through the builder that I partner with. So you're gonna leverage the builder's gonna sign off because the builder wants fees to build a property. You get a great plan.
So you're partnering with the builder.
You partner with the builder, right? And
so they're owner of it as well.
No, it depends on how you structure it.
Okay.
But the builder has to be involved. You can
Somewhat, one way or another.
One way or another. You can take all the risks and sign the PJ yourself and just have a fee structure with the builder, or you can bring him in as a partner, right?
Okay.
Most of the time, the builder just say, "I want a fee bill for you."
They don't want to take the risk.
They don't take the risk. Exactly. Most builders they know the game. Like, hey, hold up, I'm not taking risk on this. Pay me a fee.
Yeah.
And you pay the builder a fee. You get a great product. They get you a year warranty. And guess what? Now you are in the residential home building game.
Find the builder, identify the land, and what was the third?
Find the builder, identify the land, and then go to lending. Go find a lender, and you can, wherever you are, you just Google this.
How do you find a builder? Just Google?
You just Google builder
In whatever location you're in.
location you're in, or just try the neighborhood. You see anybody, just
See the signs.
See the signs. Whoa, who's building there? Just get out your car. Hey man, who's building this property?
Gotcha.
So it's this is a very, I call people get pissed off. I say this sometimes, but you don't have to be extremely a mathematician or a physicist or a doctor to be successful in real estate.
That's true.
You don't have to be that. You just keep it simple, stupid. So those three things, you are a residential developer, and you do two or three of these deals a year, and worst case scenario, that's $100,000 to $200,000 to your bottom line, additional to what you're doing at your job, if you will.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
So those are the three things you would do, and that's not brain surgery.
Are there certain neighborhoods you should look for or look out for when doing this? Because I would assume that all neighborhoods you can't build a home in just because of cost construction.
Yeah, and so how you alleviate that, right, is you look for where you have to see new construction going.
Got it.
So let's say you're gonna find a builder.
So when you're driving around, look for, it's a new home here, it's a new home there.
New home there, okay,
vacant lot here, vacant lot there. Those are my opportunities.
Those are opportunities. You're not gonna go to a zone where you don't see no new construction. You're not going there.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
Okay.
So those
Makes
are the
sense.
three simple steps.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's impressive, brother.
Yeah.
Two final questions. I borrowed these from All the Smoke because I like that podcast.
Okay.
One, what are your top 5 dinner guests, dead or alive, not including yourself? Who would you bring to that table?
Wow. You know what? I would bring Colin Powell, Martin Luther King, so Johann Sebastian Bach, Tupac, and Jesus.
Oh man, that's strong.
Yeah.
Why those 5? Just give us a brief.
I cover, spirituality. I cover, I look at Colin Powell, such a statesman, you know what I mean? He was able to just, how he lived his life, man, just so solid, patriot, true to his core values, was a very conservative man. Most of us are conservative, right? Sure. And when the conservative folks kind of went wayward, he was strong enough. Hey, you know what? No, it's not right. I'm gonna vote for President Obama. And Tupac, man, come on, the name of the podcast, man.
Yeah.
Man, he showed us a grip on Pac. He just like unrealistic, unapologetic himself. You know what I mean?
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. And Martin Luther King just being that young and leading a whole movement, the pressure. You know what I'm saying? That's incredible, man.
Okay.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
And Bach, I'm a music guy, so love classical music. I love, man, what were you thinking when you wrote those pieces? You know what I mean? What went through your mind? You know what I mean?
That's real.
Yeah.
Okay, final question is, who would you want to see on the podcast if you could select them? But whoever you say, you got to be able to reach them and at least ask.
Oh, really? Obviously, for me, that's an unfair question for me. So,
You can go with the answer that you want to go with.
So the guy that we have to get on here is two people. It's we have to get Edgar Perry on here.
For sure.
We have to, because his story has to be told for the generations that are coming. That hey, you can have integrity, you can be smart, you can work hard, you can achieve it if you can do it in this commercial real estate space, man.
That's right.
And man, that's why I'm just proud of you, brother, man, because we need more brothers like you in this space. Because we need operators, right? Because like we said, if most guys go fun route, we need folks, hey man, we need you to build this stuff.
Yeah.
And we need that, right? And the second person, it would be, you know what? We need Vicky on here, man, because this is such a male-dominated space, right? And the diversity of having women on board in terms of thought process, how they view things, we need that, and she needs to be visible to where, hey, you know what? She's a high-level executive with a major real estate development company in America and in the world, to be factual, and I could do that too.
Yeah, I mean, she's the president of the company that's developing this Microsoft campus right outside.
Yeah, a $4 billion deal. A woman is running the show.
Yeah.
You know
Not
what I
even
mean?
including some of the other, I mean, pipeline probably close to $10 billion at this point, and she is the president.
Yeah, $10 billion in the pipeline, and she is the president. She is running that, the president, man, of that.
Done deal. We'll get him.
Yeah, let's make those happen, man.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, brother.
Likewise, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for tuning in today. This is The Rosa Grew. I am your host, Brandon Rule. You can find me on all channels, B_RULE. We got to make sure that we do the same with KoMichael. How can they find you, brother?
Oh, man, it's real simple, man. Basically, my name, it'll be in the comments below, but at KoMichel Johnson. And you can hit me on LinkedIn as well. But check out the comments. It'll be at the bottom.
There we go. Thank you. Another successful week. Look forward to seeing you next. Peace. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you making it this far. If you liked the episode, share it with a friend, like, comment, subscribe on all YouTube and social media outlets. Also, make sure you check us out at our website, therosagrew.com. You'll see various things such as our merch, as well as, more importantly, a membership community that we've created for people interested in real estate and entrepreneurship. So, any other questions, comments, concerns, share it with us. We would love to hear your feedback. That's the only way we get better. Thank you. See you next week. Peace.